St. Louis ArtWorks next on CityCorner. I'm Sarah Thompson and welcome to CityCorner. Since 1995, St. Louis ArtWorks has engaged more than 3,600 young people in its arts apprenticeship program. And in 2016, it was one of only 12 organizations nationwide to receive the National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award. This is the nation's highest honor for after-school and out-of-school youth programs. It's an amazing award. So today we're going to learn more about St. Louis ArtWorks, its work here in St. Louis, all the programs that they have, and we're going to talk about some upcoming events. I'm joined by the Executive Director, Jacqueline Dace. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I drive by on Delmar and see St. Louis ArtWorks, and I always wonder, do people know what is going on behind the doors and the impact that you're having? And I just alluded to the National Arts and Humanities Award back in 2016, which is an amazing honor, yes. One of only 12. And you were telling me that's the last award of its kind. They haven't issued any more.
They haven't. Isn't that great that we were the recipients of one of the last times it was given out?
Yeah, and so
yes.
We're looking at that photo of one of your former apprentices and your former executive director there receiving that in 2016. What an amazing award. So when we say St. Louis ArtWorks and we talk about this award-winning arts apprenticeship program, tell me more about it. What does it entail?
Right, we're a youth art education program. We actually hire young people aged 14 to 19 to develop art projects, and they develop them throughout the city of St. Louis. You've probably seen some of our work throughout the city and had no idea that it was created by 14 to 19-year-olds. Wow. They work with trained teaching artists, but we also offer them job opportunities as well as life skill training, art therapy, and they're there for in this year-round. Sometimes they can continue from one session to the next. We do spring, summer, and fall. In the spring and the fall, they're there for 13 weeks. In the summer, they're there for 6 weeks, from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And they're very dedicated, hardworking young people. It's always great to see them delve into their artwork.
Yeah, so we mentioned the age group. This is something that young people ages 14 to 19 apply for. And so do they have to be, they're artists already, but I mean, when you're young, do you consider yourself an artist? And I guess where I'm going with that question can you apply if you're just interested in the arts, or do you have to have almost a portfolio from school or something like that that's already developed?
Both. We have at various levels of capabilities of students that apply. But we also, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I started there in March of 21 and discovered that there are a lot of kids that want to do the program, that are interested in the arts, but they didn't have that particular art skill. And so we started Basic 101, Art Basic 101s that allow to give them the foundations of the arts, and they can elevate from there. But then we have some youth that come in and they're just amazing. I mean, they just need a little bit more, direction and creativity from the teaching artists to let them flourish into who they want to be. So we can take them from, but it is a job training program, so they have to adhere to the guidelines of St. Louis ArtWorks, and also they have roles and responsibilities as apprentices in the program.
Yes, because you're there and they're getting paid, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Well, you've been kind enough to share some great photos with us, and I thought we could walk through and take a look at them and talk about them as they relate to the program, just because I think once people see the colors and the artwork, they'll really start to make that connection. So we'll start taking a look and kind of go through this. So, I mean, you mentioned that tell me, this is your center, right? No, it's not.
No.
This is one of your murals then?
This is a mural that was commissioned by College Bound. And
Oh.
this is one of the most recent murals that we completed, and it has been installed in the offices of College Bound.
Oh, is that real? That's no, I had no idea. God, that's beautiful. So, how many apprentices did this? Was this a group project or?
It was a group project. They were separated into a mural discipline specifically for this project. So there were about 10 students that worked with a teaching artist to develop that project.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, we'll keep going and taking a look at some. I had no idea. I was going to say, is that the interior? But let's see. What are we looking at here?
This is the interior of our space, and it was set up for our last sale, which was held in the fall. We have a sale at the end of each one of our seasons. And so this was, when the students they may work on a commission project or a specific project, but they also develop work that's for the sale at the end of the season as well. So this is some of the artwork that was available for purchase during the sale.
All right. Well, let's keep going. And so when we're looking, this is just one of the years, all of the apprentices?
Yes, this is one of our visits to the Kemper Museum.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure.
We work in collaboration, or the Kemper has been wonderful in offering tours to the facility for some of our apprentices. And so this was one of the tours to the Kemper.
And so the museums, and we can talk about, and with museums, you have a strong background in museums and talk about that as well. And so the artwork is, it's just, we're looking at paintings. It goes across board. I think when I was on your website, painting, textiles, robotic arts, performance, even dance performance, as well as media and documentary filmmaking.
Yes, that's our jury. The one that was right before that was the hip hop exhibit, the hip hop mural that we did in collaboration with the St. Louis Art Museum.
Oh, fantastic.
In celebration of the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Yeah.
And this is part of our jewelry collection. I'm actually wearing some of the earrings from the jewelry collection. The youth that work on those projects do amazing work in developing that work.
So jewelry making is one of them.
Yes, jewelry making. Isn't it amazing?
I didn't realize that. Yeah, well, let's see what do we have?
This is actually in the garage in the Delmar Loop. That is a mural that's in the garage on the Delmar Loop. So again, you've probably seen some of our work throughout the city and had no idea that it was produced by the youth and part of our program.
And so when you're doing, in this case, like a mural, does it start with it during the apprenticeship program, like sketching and everything on the day-to-day? Like, how does this all sort of like work? Because there's the commissions, as you talked about. I know that people can commission the apprentices to do specific work, but how do things like the murals come about?
Right, that is great, because we have, like I said, somebody may commission us to do some work, and they'll give us the generalized focus, or give the students the generalized focus of what it is they want them to do. We bring the person or organization in for a client meeting, and so they can work one-on-one with the students, talking to them. The students can ask them questions and get a sense of exactly what direction they want to take, and then the students will go back and they sketch out their designs, and then we bring the client in again for another meeting so they can evaluate and review, give feedback on what it is that the students has developed, and then they create the final product.
So for anyone too listening to this, if someone's thinking, I would love to gift my so-and-so for their anniversary artwork, the apprentices actually do commission work, whether it's an organization, doing something like you said at College Bound, to individual works.
Yes.
And you pay for it. It's a place of commerce. Yes.
Wouldn't you love to have original works of art by youth in the St. Louis area? So yes, you can commission St. Louis ArtWorks to develop one-of-a-kind art projects.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, as we look at some more of the work, I kind of want to go into the specifics. So there's textiles we mentioned. We're looking again at more murals. Tell me about the robotic arts and the dance component.
Now, we haven't had robotic arts or dance in a while since I've been there.
Okay.
We base our art disciplines, number one, on whether or not we do have the commissions, or also, of course, whether or not we have the funding for the programs.
Sure.
But, any type of art discipline that there is, we perform at St. Louis ArtWorks. We do sculpturing. We have created several documentaries. As you said, we've done robotics, dance, fashion design. We have art and technology. any type of art that there is. Right now we're doing creative writing. We are working with an organization to develop a creative writing course, and so we try to incorporate as much as possible, because you never know what the kids may be interested in,
Right.
and what their power may be.
Right.
You know, so we've had some that have been part of the mural program that the next session they're involved in the art and technology, and that may be where they flourish, you know. So
yeah, well, let's get behind with the program. I was looking at, for some of it with the stats for it, so more than 3,600 students since
3,800 at this point. Yes.
Congratulations. So
Yes.
3,800. And I was seeing that it was like zip codes from, it was more than like 36 or 40 zip codes. I mean, you're pulling students from, or students are just young people from all over the area, whether they're in public school, some I saw parochial and private school, just all over. So how does it sort of on the back end of things, the program work?
We're a very small but mighty team. It's just myself, assistant director, who are full-time. I have a program manager, an art therapist, and a grants manager that's part-time. And so our program manager works with the school systems. They go into the school, talk to the kids. Of course, we're also always at as many festivals as we can be, at vendors, and trying to get the word out there, as well as spreading the word through social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn and Twitter, you know. So we try to get the word out there as much as possible, because the youth then apply online on our website for the position, and then they come in for an actual interview. You know, so it is a competitive process. It's not automatic that they're going to be part of the program. They are interviewed either by, you know, one of the administrative staff or one of our teaching artists, you know. And
so can you, and when you're an apprentice, can you only do it for that session, your spring apprenticeship or summer or fall? You can't be, can you reapply to be in the program?
Yes. They can, as long as they're in good standing, because they do receive evaluations before, during, and after the program. Yeah. And as long as they're in good standing, they can reapply for the next session. And we've had students that age out of the program. So, you know, we may have some that start at 14, 15, and they age out at 19.
That's right. Well, we have so much more to cover. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do go to break, we're going to put information up on the screen so you can learn more about St. Louis ArtWorks. This is the mission statement really here: enriching the lives of the region's youth by providing art education, essential job skill training, and exposure to career opportunities through paid apprenticeships in the arts. And that's STLArtWorks.org. And then the information of where they're located on Dunlop Boulevard. Check out their website. It's got a lot of information about the programs that Jackie is describing, about the Arts Apprenticeship Program, as well as upcoming events, which you're going to see something quickly. We're going to get into the details of that when we come back. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have more with St. Louis ArtWorks when we return. Stay with us.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Visitors and residents love the St. Louis Zoo because it's free. There's a train, a carousel, opportunities to make new friends, and plenty of fun learning experiences with the animals 363 days a year. So come and experience St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome back to City Corner. Today, I'm joined by Jacqueline Dace. She is the Executive Director of St. Louis ArtWorks. I had said in the first segment that in 2016, St. Louis ArtWorks was the recipient of the National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award. Again, one of only 12 organizations nationwide to receive that award in your arts apprenticeship program. It's competitive.
Yes.
It's doing amazing work and really impactful in the community. So we've kind of been going through some of the artwork. Before we get back into that and get into sort of the details of what you're teaching artists and all of that, I do want to talk about these upcoming events to make sure people know about it. This is a great chance for the community and the public to really get a feel for some of the work that you're doing and also meet people. So first coming up, we have for Black History Month. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we started a film series last year, so once a month we try to have a film, and this film is going to be on Freedom Summer because this is the 60th anniversary of Freedom Summer, and that's kind of the focus of our year for St. Louis ArtWorks. We want the students to find their voice. The theme is, they found their voice, it's time for you to find yours. And so we're going to show the film, Freedom Summer, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards, but it is free and open to the public that, our film series are.
So this is open to the public. Also, some of the apprentices will be there, just the staff, just the community, St. Louis ArtWorks kind of.
The apprentices are invited to attend. It's not a mandatory thing for them to attend, but they are invited. And I hope that, more of them can come so they can get a better understanding of what Freedom Summer really means.
Yes. And for the public to come see your space too, and just like to engage. And then you have one for Women's History Month in March.
We do.
Tell me about that.
Women's History Month, we're going to also have a film called Dark Girls, and we will also have a discussion following that. This film is in collaboration with a Call to Conscience Interactive Theater for Social Change, and that is going to be on March 8th. And it is, again, we'll show the film, and then we'll open it up for discussion for the audience members as well.
That's great. And then we kind of get back to the artwork, which is your spring art sale. And I think we were looking earlier at some photos of that, but tell us what's going to happen.
April 27th, when, again, students, it'll be new works of art that they're creating right now that'll be available. And we like to have a very festive art sale. So we have music and food and, art is available for purchase. But I also would like to add that people can come to our facility at 5959 Delmar at any time because we always have art available for purchase.
Oh, do you really?
Yes.
So you, during operation hours, you can come take a look at the artwork. And as you said, even I want to highlight again, since the shot's on you, the earrings you're wearing, that one of the, I shouldn't say student, one of the apprentices created that. So, I mean, this is the type of art that's available for purchase.
This is the type of art.
That's really great. I want to kind of look at, I was on your website and just in reading material about St. Louis ArtWorks, there's kind of three pillars where it's job training, life skills, and arts education. And for you to talk about a bit of the history of the program, the mission of the program, because outside of all the cool stuff that we're seeing in the graphics, all this beautiful artwork, there's a whole sort of formula behind this to develop for the apprentices, for life skills, for job training, and kind of if you could talk about how that all comes together in the program.
Right. And, St. Louis ArtWorks was created because of the need of this program, this type of program in the St. Louis region. There's a similar program that occurs in Chicago, and it was kind of modeled after that project. We are at the Delmar location, the first location where we are in our own, physical location. Prior to that, we had been at different locations throughout the city of St. Louis. But we like to include not only the job training, but the life skill training, financial literacy, health and wellness, job opportunities. We bring in prior apprentices to talk to the students about how they may be able to use what they learned during St. Louis ArtWorks in their future careers. All of them may not go into the arts, they may, but it will always be part of their life. And we can talk to them about that, especially former apprentices are always the best that can talk to them about that. We have teaching artists that are on staff that we have one teaching artist that was a former apprentice in the program. But it's required that they have to go get a degree. They have to have a degree to be a teaching artist. They have to be particularly skilled in their particular field. So this particular Stasia Curry, I'll mention her name, she was in the program when she was 15, 16 years old. And of course, she graduated, went out, got her degree. She was a teacher in the classroom, and she serves as a part-time teaching artist at St. Louis ArtWorks. And because she understands the program from the inside out, she is very easy to relate to the students that are part of the program as well. So it's we try to create it as a full round circle. In the summertime, we have, as I mentioned, it's Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That's the program. But on Friday, it's all life skills.
Wow.
All life skills. We bring in people to talk to the students. We have workshops. We work with organizations to develop specific programs just for life skill training. And then we also have life skills as well in the fall and the spring, but it's integrated into the program more so than it is, a specific day.
Right. And I think what's so interesting about that, and can't be emphasized enough when you think about the age group, that 14 to 19, because what you're doing is saying, hey, you have to arrive here on time as if it's a job. And this is how you, from the commercial aspect, selling, the commerce side, selling your artwork, how it's priced, what you do with money, what you do with that money once you receive it for selling your artwork. You're doing all these different, you're sort of helping the apprentices understand, and they're going through all those different stages.
Right. And many of the students actually that are still in the program, they become entrepreneurs themselves,
Really?
So they may create their own, website or create their own fashion design, their own line, and they start selling to their high school students,
Wow.
So yeah, it's, they're able to learn firsthand, and our teaching artists, as well as those that come in to give a life skill presentations, they often serve as mentors for the students as well. So there's a way for them to connect, but this is an agreement that is made not only between the apprentices, but between the parents, because we have orientation when during the beginning of the program, and the parents as well as guardians have to agree to the commitment that they're making in being part of St. Louis ArtWorks. And so, as I tell them all the time, you've become part of the family. So, this is St. Louis ArtWorks family, even though it is a job and they do have responsibilities. But, we have some amazing kids in this community.
I'm sure.
And I'm so glad that you're focusing on this program, because I love the fact that we can highlight something that is really extremely positive and impactful that is happening. I invite anybody to come down and see the program, because it is very inspiring to see these kids at work, and they want to do great work.
Well, clearly the program, not just because of the outside of this amazing national recognition that the organization has received, but, I think in the arts sometimes it's hard. People struggle to find a way that they can do something professionally in it. They can see organizations that already exist and think, oh, administratively, I could go in that route. But if you are an artist yourself, where do you go from there? And that's kind of what the program, it's giving this full 360 sort of approach to it. I want to make sure we dedicate a little bit of time before we wrap things up with your teaching artists and your staff, because I know in the nonprofit sector, especially in the arts, so many people wear many hats.
Yes.
So as you mentioned, you're a few but mighty staff. And then with your teaching artists, talk about sort of the mentorship or the relationships that you have seen developed over the years between the teaching artists and the students in terms of what they learn from that and really take away from that.
We have teaching artists. I have a couple teaching artists that have been with us for over 20 years, and so they're extremely dedicated to the program. Some of them are, they have had, like I said, Stasia was an apprentice in the program and came back to serve as a teaching artist, but we also have teaching artists that have their own organization. They may have some former apprentices that, one I can think of immediately that's on his board, on his nonprofit board. So, it is a continuing relationship, but you also, if they're going to go off to college, they need that reference. They need somebody that they can that they can model themselves after in a way. And so we have those types of relationships as well. And as well as, with our staff, we have some some great personalities, and it requires people to be committed to this project, to St. Louis ArtWorks, to our youth, in order to be part of the program. I will mention we are looking to hire an art therapist as part-time, so that position is currently open right now. So just in case anybody is interested, please send us a email to apply for that. You do have to be a licensed art therapist, but we are hiring for that position right now.
Fantastic! Thank you thank you for sharing that. I want to, as we sort of close things out, you sent me this video, which was so cool. It's a little kind of B-roll video, and we can just talk while it's running. But I mean, how has it been for you? I know the arts, over the years, especially post-pandemic, funding is always very tight in the arts, but the work is needed and the work is so impactful, as you mentioned. But for you as executive director, how's this been? I mean, when you look at the work that you're doing and all these late nights and every day of the year, what really hits home for you about the work that you're doing and the organization that you're doing?
What hits home is the impact of the kids. You have to be dedicated. You have to have a passion for it. Because it is a struggle, and we're always looking for those to assist us, whether it's through sponsorships, whether it's through commissions, whether it's through volunteerism. We can always use more assistance with that. I want to see St. Louis ArtWorks, blossom and take off in the next 5 years. It should be double the size, because one of my biggest regrets is having to turn down students that want to be part of the program. They are, committed to it, but we have to turn them down. We just don't have the funding, and we're always looking for additional funding. We lost 2 positions during the pandemic that we haven't been able to replace. And I would love to be able to see us grow. Again, St. Louis ArtWorks has been around for 29 years. I expect it to be around for 29 years long after I'm gone, because it's much needed in the St. Louis region.
Yeah. Much needed, and you're doing incredible work. You really are. I really appreciate you being here. I know that as I've learned about St. Louis ArtWorks, very inspired by the work that you're doing, and it's great to really see a full, thorough impact in the community, especially with young people. So thank you for being here. And thank you and your team and everyone, and the apprentices and teaching artists, for everyone in your board for the work that they're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, we've got some information on your screen. If you know anyone in the ages of 14 through 19 who might be interested in applying to the apprenticeship program, or as Jackie even mentioned, for this new position that they're opening up, there's a lot of information on the website, STLArtWorks.org. So that information there is for you right there. This is the location on Del Mar Boulevard. And I appreciate your note that you can stop by anytime to do a little shopping for artwork, or learn more about even commissioning artwork. We've got their Facebook handle there, and again, STLArtWorks.org. And don't forget to mark your calendar for the upcoming events. February 28th, Black History Month Movie Night. March 8th, Women's History Month Movie Night, and then April 27th is their big spring art sale, where you can get a chance to buy this beautiful artwork by the apprentices. Again, all these details are on STLArtWorks.org. Jackie, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for watching STL TV, and keep it right here on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.